Hello and welcome back to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and we're talking the Atlanta Falcons 2021 team preview today with the host, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Hey, what's going on, Jeremiah? Ready to talk about the Falcons? We film in the Atlanta metro area. This is our team, so I'm ready to talk about the Falcons and how they're going to do this year. Hopefully good. Hopefully we can get back to another Super Bowl, right? So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they can do.
Hey, I think it's definitely possible. I cannot wait to go into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, chill in there, have a nice drink, have a nice snack, be in there with thousands of my favorite people, just watching an incredible game go down in an amazing town here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we broadcast live every single week. And I can't wait for it. And we were just talking offline before it starts. The first preseason game is going to be on August the 13th. That's just around the corner because we're just into June now, so we're talking about less than 2 months away. And the first regular season game is September the 12th, which is only 3 months away. September 12th seems like a long time away from now, but it is not. It is just 3 months away. So we're getting ready for these previews. We're getting ready for these teams, and I cannot wait. So, Mr. Landers, tell us, over in NFL land, the Atlanta Falcons, what are their strengths and potential weaknesses, and what do they need to do to bring it on home?
Man, the Falcons, look, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this out here first and foremost. We miss you, Julio. We miss you, Julio Jones. He unfortunately had to leave us, so, we knew it was going to be coming. He went to the Tennessee Titans, but we'll be seeing him very soon, Jeremiah, because the first game in the preseason on August 13th, guess what? It is against the Tennessee Titans. So it remains to be seen if Julio's going to be playing or not. But, man, it's going to be hard seeing him in a different uniform. An amazing wide receiver who is gone. That's a lot of production that the Falcons just lost, man. They lost a future Hall of Famer. So we'll see who can step up. But this Falcons team is not going to be bad at all. This is not going to be a repeat. I'm not expecting them to be in the top 5 for the NFL draft this year. I expect them to have a solid season. But it is going to come with some challenges, though. So we talked about the schedule preview a while ago. So I think that the Falcons are going to have a decent season. And with Julio Jones gone now, that my ranking might have been affected a little bit. But I think that overall the Falcons have a lot of talent. And I mean, look, you're getting basically a brand new team on every sense of the word. You got a brand new GM, brand new coach, basically brand new everything for the most part. Your offense looks a lot different now. You still got Matt Ryan there holding it down in the center. And obviously Matt Ryan's been an amazing quarterback for the Falcons for a long time. You got brand new crop of running backs coming in. You got Mike Davis. You got Cordell Patterson. The list goes on and on. They have a brand new list of running backs. And then what wide receiver is going to step up? Is it going to be Calvin Ridley? Is it going to be someone else? We'll have to see. So the Falcons have a lot of good pieces, man. They're not a horrible team. But, man, I think that they're going to have a decent season. Obviously with Julio Jones, that the heart right now for all the Falcons fans, a little bit crushed still. That's still pretty fresh. But it's all right, though. It's going to be fine because the Falcons have a solid team. They have a lot of guys. Like I said, they have Calvin Ridley, who I think is one of the better young wide receivers in the game. Who's, I think, going to take a big leap this year, hopefully. I think that, Matt Ryan, he's going to do what Matt Ryan does. And, man, that's just be consistent each and every year. He's been with the Falcons for a very long time. Been there since, I believe, 2008. So he's been there for a long time. Definitely, I would say the best quarterback in Falcons franchise history, just in terms of his productivity, what all he's done. And I think that, with brand new coaches, with, Dean Pease helping out on the defense side of the ball, Arthur Smith taking over for the head coaching job, I think that this Falcons team is going to come into this year refreshed because last year was just a roller coaster, we'll say that for the lack of the better terms, with everything going on with COVID happening, with coaches getting fired, brand new guys coming in, players leaving, new ones coming in with the NFL draft. So it's going to be interesting to see just how this team is going to do. And, man, they had, I think, like I said, we talked about their draft a while ago, too, and they had a very good draft, I feel. Kyle Pitts, he's coming in with a ton of hype around him. Being, top 5 pick, he's going to have a great year, and I think he's got all the tools to do so. He was absolutely phenomenal at Florida with Kyle Trask, And now that you have Matt Ryan, who can still throw the ball a good chunk of yards, and Kyle Pitts, who is, people said he's probably one of the more athletic tight ends that's ever, I'm saying it again, that's ever been drafted in the NFL. Man, they have a lot of good guys on this team. And I think that the one key, I think the offense, they should be fine. We'll have to see how that running back position is going to be filled, because they've had issues at the running back position for what feels like, 10 plus years now. It's been a while. Todd Gurley, it just didn't work out. So they have a lot of new guys coming in, and we're going to see who's going to be able to step up. Can they get a more productive season, or is the running back position still just kind of going to be, a black hole of, they're here and they get a few yards, but they're not really going to carry the team. They're not help out Matt Ryan a whole bunch. So we'll have to see how that's going to roll. I think the wide receivers are going to be solid. I think the tight end with Kyle Pitts, Hayden Hurst, that's going to be a nice combo. So I think all in all, the offense is going to be fine this year. They're going to take a small step back with the loss of Julio Jones, of course. But when you lose a guy who gets over at least 1,000 yards a season for basically his whole career, feels like a few touchdowns, and most importantly, a guy who just you need to always keep your eye on, that's going to get shifted now. He's gone. He's with a new team. And now I think that's going to go over to Calvin Ridley or Kyle Pitts. Those are the two guys who I think are the most dangerous when it comes to the receiving position. So I think that the Falcons are going to be helped out. But the one thing for me is, how is that defense going to hold up? Because, man, they went pretty defensive heavy in the draft. They have a lot of guys who are coming in who are going to be able to help out. And I think that Richie Grant, he's going to come in and he's going to be fine. There's a lot of really good guys on this program who can really help out the Falcons, man. They have a lot of guys who are going to be coming in who can get up. I think their secondary is their biggest weakness that they've had for a while now. They lost Keanu Neal. So what are they going to do? Is it time for the Falcons to rise up, is what I was like to say in Atlanta? Or are they going to be a little bit of what they've been the last couple of years? A very good offensive team, but the defense struggles a lot. I don't think so. I think the defense is going to take a good step this year. You got Dean Pease, who we talked about, man. He's a legend basically in the defense side of the ball when it comes to coaching. You have a lot of young guys who are willing to learn, who are going to help out, and I think that the Falcons are going to have a good year. Like I said, Richie Grant, that's a good, solid guy you got in the second round. You got also Darren Hall at the cornerback position as well. Taquan Graham helping on the D-line. And then our guy who we've had on the show, Avery Williams, who's a cornerback, who's going to get some good playing time as well. So I think that all in all, the Falcons are going to take a good step forward. Do I expect them to have the best defense in the league? Of course not. But do I expect them to play close, to not give up, 500 yards a game or anything like that? No. I expect them to have good – they're going to have games where they're going to be looking great, and I think they're going to have games where they're not their best. So I think it's going to be an up and down type of season. But that's kind of what you can expect when you have a lot of young guys on your defensive side of the ball. And, they're facing a pretty tough schedule this year. They're facing Miami, who's going to be formidable, the Cleveland Browns, who are, they're looking to try and get a championship. And, of course, man, you got to face the Bucs, who are in your division. And we all know how good Tom Brady them are still. So they're looking pretty good. But I think the Falcons are going to have a solid season. I don't expect them to make the playoffs. If they could slide in maybe and get a wild card spot. I don't think they're going to take the division. But I think the biggest thing for me is I just want to see the Falcons play a complete 4 quarters of football. And for, a lot of games last year, that's where they lost it. They didn't play all 4. They played a half, and they looked great. And that second half, as we all know, man, they just kind of unraveled and fell apart. So can the Falcons play 4 really hard quarters of football? Can they be productive? Can they get the close wins? Can they really have a good year? We'll have to see. But I think that, even though they've lost a lot of guys, they have a lot of new ones coming in. They have a lot, Matt Ryan holding it down. They have Grady Jarrett, of course, who I didn't even speak about, who is absolutely tremendous, one of the better D linemen in the NFL. How is he going to do this year? I think that if the Falcons can have a great offense, for the most part, and if their secondary first and foremost, if that and the linebacking core, if they can step up, if they can get a lot more turnovers, if they can just apply some more pressure, how can the Falcons do this year? I think they could shock some people. But I expect them to have a better record. Like I said, a wild card spot would be, that's great for me if they get that, if they get to the playoffs. If not, if they get close to the playoffs, I'll be happy with that. But I don't expect them to be in the top 5, top 10 of the NFL draft next year. This last year, we're just going to forget about that. We're improved, so it's time to go on. It's time to get into the top 15, top 20s of the NFL draft now. And I think I would be acceptable with that. As long as we just improve, as long as we play hard, I'll be happy with the Falcons season. But all in all, I think they're going to be fine. Looks like you muted there, Jeremiah.
I think they'll be fine. When it comes to having hype, and it comes to building up what should happen in a season, the Atlanta Falcons have never had a problem with that. We've come into the last 4 or 5 seasons. See, I've lived in Atlanta for 3. This is my 4th year living in Atlanta. In all 3 of those years in the season, including even last year coming into the pandemic season, everyone was really anticipating a huge season from the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. And when they came out and they started their seasons, they were some big moves happening, but they weren't able to clutch it, in the end. And so I feel like this season they do have a better chance. They do have that entire, season off essentially. That's a much different, place to come from. And maybe they've got something cooking that we just have no idea about. That's just going to be really revolutionary and change football, and the way that we think about it. So we'll see what happens. I'm wishing them all the best. I cannot wait to be in the stadium, in a seat, and really figure out what's going on with these guys, because we want to see our home team win here at the Atlanta Falcons, Well, anybody who's watching, make sure that you share across our videos for the Atlanta Falcons and any of our other videos that we bring up that you love for our team previews, whether it's college football, NFL, any of the interviews we have, history specials. We have lots of great things coming up and amazing things planned for when the season kicks off a little later in the year. And if you are listening to us on our podcast, thank you. But if you haven't joined us on our podcast yet, please do. Go to anywhere you listen to podcasts and pull up 100 Yards of Football. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we put out a podcast pretty much every day so that we can accompany you on your morning drive, your evening drive, whenever you need something to listen to, or just when you're just hanging out at your office and just need a little background information to learn more about football. So for our entire team, I am Jeremiah Long, the producer, and you've been listening to our Atlanta Falcons team preview with our host, Logan Landers. We'll be back with another team preview here shortly.